Alright guys, in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your eyes pop in Lightroom and take your portraits from something that looks a little more bland like this to something that looks like this, coming right up. Alright, so this is the photo I'm going to be using to share the information with you guys on how you can make some eye enhancements in Lightroom. This photo is grabbed from unsplash.com. Thank you to Tamara Bellis for this photo. Incredible job. But I'm going to use this JPEG. Keep in mind this is a JPEG, but I will be showing you how to improve these. Okay, so when you have your photo, you're going to go to develop. There's already a few ways. If you click fill or 1:1 here, it'll just really zoom in on her eyes. Some of you may already know this one. If you go to your brush or hit K, right? If you go under your different effects, there's already an iris enhance one. So that is one of the ways you can actually do this. What it does is pretty much just boost the saturation a little bit and increases the exposure. So you can really mask over here. If you click show selected mask overlay or hit O on your keyboard, you'll get this nice little red that allows your auto mask to go on. So if we click on that, it does the job. Okay, then we're gonna hit O again so that disappears. We're gonna fit, and now we can see, if you click this arrow, all of that will collapse and you can see the effect. So you can go increase it, decrease it, right? So this is what we started with. Let me zoom in on this side, right? This is what we started with, and then it was roughly 40%, right? You can go greater, you can go stronger, but it's always about the subtle changes. So even roughly 50%, that is one way to do it, and it doesn't look half bad. If you click done, you can see, and then if we go before and after, before and after, before and after, let's compare them like this, right? Okay, so now I'm going to show you the second method, which is pretty much doing the same thing. I'm going to move on to this one. We're going to zoom in 1:1 once again, then we'll be using our brush. This time we're just going to be going to the exposure enhancement because it gives us a little bit more control. I'm going to hit O on my keyboard again. I'm going to make that same selection that we had from before. Fairly small brush. I always want my feather to be quite high. All right, so if we go like this and then we hit O, we can see what's going on. So like I said, our exposure is at 1 right now. If we click this arrow and everything shows up, there we go. So our exposure initially started at 0. This is where we started. Bring up the exposure roughly 0.7. I always like bringing a little bit of contrast. Kill the highlights a little bit, right? Then we go down to clarity. This is where you can really make your eyes pop. So we're gonna add a little bit of clarity. It enhances those blacks around the iris, which is really, really good. We can also go on to the sharpness. It sharpens the eye, just a hair. And then we can increase the saturation as well, right? So if I go to about here where I'm happy, right? This is what our eyes look like. So if we go back to fill, and then we look at our before and after, go 1:1, what our eyes initially looked like and what they look like now. A lot stronger, a lot more impactful. So and let me go back to fill, click down on that mask. There you guys, you can compare the before and the after. Again, it gets a little bit more pop, it's a little sharper, and there's a little bit more detail. So now I'm gonna show you another method. It's about stacking brushes, and then you guys can really do this as well, almost on any photo. So this is how you do it in Lightroom. So I'm just gonna skip over to this other photo. Okay, we're gonna zoom in 1:1 on the eye. I'm going to hit K on our keyboard or use the brush. We're going to go into the exposure mode. So you can see right now, I'm actually going to go in even further. I'm going to go 3:1. Okay, so you can see that my brush size right here is really, really tiny, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm creating subtle detail to really make those eyes pop some more. So I'm going to make those lines that just really makes it a lot more impactful, okay? So we're going to do that. Then we're going to move over to the other eye. There it is. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing. Really create some of those details. Create those super fine lines that really go unnoticed, but just really makes your eyes pop. I'm gonna be honest, it is a lot easier to do this in Photoshop if you guys want a tutorial on it. I can definitely do that. So if I hit O again, right, you guys can see that it created those little lines, right? So I can even, right, if I boost the exposure like a maniac, you can see what those look like. We still want them to be fairly subtle, so I'm going to keep it at 1. Okay, I'm going to keep it at 1. Then we're going to go with a new brush. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make our brush a little bit bigger, and on top of everything we've done, we're going to hit O, and we're going to do the exact same thing as we did in the previous option that I showed you guys. And we're just going to go over top of both and enhance that even further. Okay, so if I hit O, right, you see how it really made those eyes pop. We're gonna drop in here into the temperature. I'm gonna drop the exposure a hair because it's on top of that. Gonna add a little bit of contrast. Gonna kill the highlights just a touch. Gonna drop my blacks a little bit to make them even more punchy. Give a little bit of clarity so that detail comes out afterwards, so roughly 50%. Gonna increase my saturation. Let's go roughly about there, and then we're going to hit done. So if I go back to this, you can really see that extra eye pop. For this one, it is a little bit much, so you'd go into your brush and you'd make those a little bit more subtle, but this is how you can really make your eyes pop in Lightroom. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this tutorial, give it a thumbs up, and if you're interested in seeing how to do this in Photoshop as well, let me know. I can do a tutorial on that. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.